Welcome back to the Northern Beaches Market Wrap. I'm Jack Henderson, the founder of Henderson Advocacy, and joined again, as always, by the ever so charming James Eyden from Clarke Humel. Mate, welcome.
Well, welcome, thanks.
Sitting on the balcony of the talk of the town at the moment of North Curl, 30 Surf Road, which, mate, got a pretty exceptional result, $1 million, I think it was, over reserve.
Yeah, it was. We had buyers from everywhere. Lower North Shore, Upper North Shore, Darwin. Your typical downsizers paradise in a great location. Now we set a buyer's guide of 3.7 to start off with because the unknown, because it was a bit of a, I don't say quirky floor plan, but an unusual floor plan.
Sure.
We then took the guide off, moved it to 4. We set the reserve at 4.1, and we did a Zoom auction, and it went up to 5.1, much to my vendor's delight, and obviously the purchaser's delighted too because they love the location.
Well, mate, there's only a few houses along this street. I mean, we're right across the road from the beach. The vendors bought this property in the early 2000s for 1.5. They've done a reno on it, so mate, it sounds like everyone's happy.
Yeah, they are.
Mate, opens are back. We've sort of 3 weeks now into normal-ish real estate market now. Open for inspections on the weekends. Still doing all the COVID-safe things. But mate, what are you seeing since we've moved now from Zoom auctions and we're back into normality? Yeah,
I think the fence sitters during COVID were just going to sit on the fence.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't mind it through that period where you were more the old-fashioned way, qualifying the buyers and actually getting them through. So the quantity was very good. The quality was very good, not so much the quantity.
Yeah.
Obviously now the quantity is coming back. But yeah, from an agent, obviously it's easier to manage because some homes like here, I was probably here sometimes 3 or 4 hours a day.
Right, and just showing single buyers.
Single buyers through and second inspections and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so now we're seeing an increase in stock. Well, North Curl so far this year has only had 26 transactions as far as houses go.
How many of those have you sold?
Over half. But now they're actually, if you look on realestate.com today, which is end of October, there are actually 9 listings.
Wow.
In North Curl, which is very
so 30% essentially of whatever sold for the whole year is now on market.
Yeah, it is. So I think it will play a bit of catch up towards the end of the year, where we usually transact between 50 to 60 a year. Mm-hmm. And also it's seen a massive growth of 36.2% actually, and now the median price in the suburb is just a tick over 3.1.
Wow, which is very, very strong.
Yeah.
And are you seeing the marketplace continuing to move in the upward trajectory towards Christmas, or do you think now, because people can start enjoying restaurants and looking to go on holidays from the start of sort of November, do you think that will pull some buyers back?
I think the ones that have a need and a want to buy will still buy. As I said, I think more the people that are on the cusp of not too sure what they want to do, they'll always find a reason.
Not to buy.
Yeah, not to buy. But yes, it comes down to, I think we've seen obviously massive growth. And now I believe through the back end of the year, it more sort of tend to plateau.
More stable market.
Yeah, more stable market, which actually I don't mind myself. But obviously it depends on the buyer's reaction to obviously the new lending laws that are out there, maybe, which you can cover off on. Yeah,
so obviously the new APRA regulations, which they've sort of brought in to somewhat put a damper on the marketplace because of everything that's happened over the last sort of 10 months. But essentially what's happened is when the banks calculate your serviceability, so when you go to the bank and say, hey, I want to get a new loan, say the standard interest rate is 3%, the banks have been putting a buffer on of say 2.5%. So when they calculate your repayments, they calculate them at 5.5% thereabouts, or whatever the interest rate is, plus 2.5%. So what they've done now is they've added an extra 0.5% to that buffer rate. So instead of calculating them at 2.5, they calculate them at 3, which will have a small impact on servicing, but it's not going to affect the upper end of the marketplace, because obviously a lot of these buyers who are spending north of $3 million are putting quite a lot of cash into the deal. They're not leveraging 80-20. So people who are putting a lot of cash into a deal, they're probably just going to have to stump up a little bit more cash to still get them to that point of what they would have done prior. The people who it's really going to affect are the first-time buyers, people who are using all their cash to be able to get into the marketplace, maybe leveraging 90-95%, and they don't have surplus cash to be able to top it back up. So that's the end of the marketplace that I think you'll see come off a little bit, and they're the buyers that will be affected. But again, it's all media hype and anything that the media can grab to do a spin on and make it seem like the market's going to come off, they will, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think it's going to be interesting now. You know, we can't fly to Queensland or WA, but we can. I think from next month we can go overseas. So it'll be interesting to see. Go figure that one. But I think it'd be interesting to see. I believe towards the back end of the year and early part of next year, I think we're going to get a big pull from expats and overseas coming back in as well. Do you feel that as well?
Yeah, mate. I've already started having a lot of inbound calls from people overseas coming back to Australia. Now it's going to be easier to do so. You know, I was talking to a gentleman the other day who was living in Malaysia. He's been there for 2 years, been stuck. I think there was only 15 or 20 people a month allowed back into Australia, like Australian citizens, and he only just come back over. So when they start to loosen that up and allow more and more people to come back to the country, there's going to be a bigger demand. Yeah. I think, especially for real estate, like the northern beaches, like the eastern suburbs, like your North Shore, which generally that's where the people want to live.
Yeah, we're finding buyers that are very much changing their lifestyle. So the buyer for this was Lower North Shore. We've actually listed 50 surf road down the road as well, and again they're coming from the inner western suburbs, Upper North Shore, Lower North Shore. Actually, we got one even from Jindabyne of all places.
There you go.
So
sick of the snow and want to be by the beach.
Yeah, well, I think he wanted both. So which is not a bad place to be in. So yeah.
So mate, I think overall, moving into the end of the year, we're not going to see too much of a change. I don't believe in prices. I think there'll be more buyers in the marketplace, probably going to be a bit more inventory in the marketplace. I guess they're playing catch up.
Yeah.
And then moving into 2022, how do you see it unfolding?
Yeah.
There's going to be more stock.
I think it's probably next year, if I call it steady as you go.
Yeah.
Obviously, like with the stock market, if you see an amazing growth like we've actually seen, well, some unprecedented growth, there's going to be some sort of maybe mini correction or stabilization at some point. But because the way the world's changed and the way that people choose to live these days, that's where it's the draw card of coming to the northern beaches, where actually when these were built in the 1930s, it wasn't cool to live by the beach.
That's right.
So how life has changed. So
and working from home now, being a bit further from Sydney CBD, and not necessarily having to go to work every single day, makes this sort of lifestyle a little bit more attractive.
Yeah, indeed.
Mate, beautiful. We'll see you at the end of the year.
Cheers.